Hello students. In the last class, we have completely discussed some of the concepts which are very important and mainly related to the molecular orbital theory. As I have explained the salient features of molecular orbital theory and also LCO concept, that is linear combination of atomic orbitals, and how the molecular orbitals form by the addition of or the subtraction of a wave function. Generally those are recognized as the atomic orbitals. And also there are two types of atomic orbitals. One is bonding atomic orbitals, second one is anti-bonding atomic orbitals. Further, we have seen the conditions for the combination of atomic orbitals. Along with that, I have given the two main orbital picture or orbital diagrammatic representation regarding with the right. So general electronic configuration, how we will write for the different elements for the 1s 2s as well as 2p atomic orbitals. And in general cases like some of the exceptional cases like b2, n2 and c2, we have seen the orbital picture diagrammatic representation. So with the help of this, we can write the electronic configuration of any of the elements. If you know the general electronic configuration, we'll just draw the orbital picture diagram, and also further we'll see how many number of electrons which are present in bonding atomic orbitals and how many number of electrons which are present in anti-bonding, that is molecular orbitals, right? So when you know all these number of electrons which are present in bonding and anti-bonding, so we can calculate the bond order. That is the further concept which we will study in the today's classes, right? So here, going with the bond order is generally recognized as, or it is defined as, so it is 1/2 of the distance between the number of electrons present in the bonding and anti-bonding orbitals. Already we know that bonding as well as anti-bonding molecular orbitals. So generally bonding will be represented as sigma and anti-bonding is represented as sigma star. Similarly here also sigma 2s and sigma star 2s, which means after the formation of molecular orbitals, there will be two types of molecular orbitals. One will be called as bonding molecular orbitals and second will be called as anti-bonding molecular orbitals. And we have also seen the definition regarding with those. So first one is bonding. Bonding means the atomic orbitals which are combined, which are added to form the new set of molecular orbitals. Those are recognized as the bonding molecular orbitals. And in case of anti-bonding, that is mainly due to the subtraction of those molecular orbitals. Generally the atomic orbitals that will further convert into anti-bonding molecular orbitals. And we have seen it is represented sigma in case of bonding and it is represented as sigma star in case of anti-bonding. Here for the calculation of bond order, there is a one formula. Bond order is equal to 1 divided by 2, that is 1/2 of the total number of electrons present in bonding minus anti-bonding, right? So first we will take bonding minus anti-bonding. You can also call it as bonding number of electrons which are present in bonding minus number of electrons which are present in anti-bonding divided by 2. Right? So 1/2 is nothing but divided by 2. Therefore, the definition goes like this. In case of bond order, it is defined as the 1/2 of the, or you can call it as half of the distance, half of the difference between the number of electrons present in the bonding as well as anti-bonding orbitals. Which means, so whenever you know the electronic configuration of any of the element, so we can calculate what is the exact bond order, right? So generally bond order is nothing but how many number of bonds are present between the atom, how many number of bonds present between the atoms. So that is generally in a molecule is generally called as bond order. But for the calculation of bond order, there is a formula, that is bond order is equal to 1 divided by 2 NB minus Na. Further we will see some of the examples, right? So here there is a important statement, that is a positive bond order will be there whenever the number of electrons in bonding is greater than anti-bonding, and that will be the stable molecule. Observe here. So we will call it as a positive bond order whenever the number of electrons present in bonding is greater than the number of present in anti-bonding. So if this condition obeys in this above equation or in this above formula, then there is a formation of stable molecule. In case of negative bond order, here what happens, or you can go for the zero bond order. So we can observe the negative bond order or zero bond order. So that is only when the number of electrons in bonding atomic orbitals are less than number of electrons in anti-bonding molecular orbitals, or there may be Na is equal to Nb, which means the number of electrons in anti-bonding molecular orbital is equal to number of electrons in bonding orbital, which means the molecule is unstable. Always remember, these two are very important points. One is the positive bond order means the molecule will be stable, but there must be a condition that it must satisfy the condition that the bonding atomic orbitals should contains the more number of electrons when compared to that of the number of electrons present in the anti-bonding molecular orbital. But in case of negative or zero bond order, the condition is the number of electrons in bonding are less than number of electrons in anti-bonding, or it may be number of electrons in A, that is anti-bonding, that is equal to number of electrons in the bonding, which means the molecule is generally unstable. There is one important note point here. Bond length decreases as the bond order, right? So bond length decreases, right? So the length decreases at the, this is bond order increases, right? So the bond length decreases as the bond order, right? So increases. If it is single bond, its length is more, right? So if it's double bond, its length reduces. If it is a triple bond, then also its length goes on decreases, right? So we'll go with a little bit of rough work here. So here, if you observe in case of a bond order, so we have given the statement in case of bond order what happens. We'll solve about the bond order, right? So bond order is nothing but it is a half of the distance, half of the number of electrons, in bonding molecular orbital, generally we will call it as AMOs, and subtracted with electrons in anti-bonding molecular orbitals, right? So if you go with the formula, so generally the formula can be given as, it is called as BO, bond order. So bond order is equal to 1 divided by 2, that is number of electrons in bonding minus number of electrons in anti-bonding, right? Or you can also write it as OR. So 1 by 2 is taken as bond order is equal to, so that is NB divided by minus Na divided by 2, right? So this is the formula where NB represents number of electrons in bonding molecular orbitals, and Na represents numbers of electrons in anti-bonding molecular orbitals. Observe here carefully. So this is very important formula, and you might get a 2 marks question from here. So calculation of bond order. Be careful with the formula, that is NB minus Na. If you write it reverse, it will be completely wrong. Therefore, bond order is equal to number of electrons which are present in bonding atomic orbitals or bonding molecular orbitals minus number of electrons present in the anti-bonding molecular orbitals, right? So there are two types of bond. So one is positive bond, right? So if positive bond, and the second one is a negative bond, or third one is zero bond, right? So generally there are three conditions. One, the molecule may have the positive bond, and second one is negative bond, and third one is zero bond. So whenever there is a positive bond, the number of electrons which are present in bonding molecular orbital will be greater than anti-bonding. Observe carefully, the number of electrons which are present in bonding will be greater than anti-bonding, and in case of negative what happens, it is reverse. Number of electrons present in bonding are less than number of electrons present in anti-bonding, right? And in zero bonding, both are equal. Bonding will be equal to anti-bonding. Na is equal to Nb or Nb is equal to Na. Observe carefully here. So this is the very important note point. So there are three types of bonds. One is positive bond, second one is negative bond, third one is zero bond. Positive bond means number of electrons in the bonding will be greater than number of electrons in the anti-bonding. Negative bond means number of electrons in bonding are less than number of electrons in anti-bonding. Zero bond means number of electrons in bonding is equal to number of electrons in anti-bonding. And here, whenever there is a positive bond, the molecule will be stable, right? and whenever in the negative bond as well as in the zero bond, it will be unstable. This is very important, right? So whenever it is having the positive bond, the condition is number of electrons in bonding are greater than number of electrons in anti-bonding, then the molecule will be stable. But whenever it is having the negative bond, number of electrons in bonding are less than, there is a reverse condition, less than number of electrons in anti-bonding, then also the molecule is unstable. Similarly, in zero bond, the number of electrons in bonding are exactly equal to number of electrons in anti-bonding, then also the molecule will be stable. Because, so whenever you apply this formula, it is Nb minus Na. Whenever you minus Nb is a higher value means you will get a positive value. If Nb is the smaller value than Na means you will get a negative value. But whenever Na and Nb are same, you will get a zero value. So therefore, positive bond is stable, negative bond is unstable, and zero bond is also unstable. And we have also seen one important note point, that is a statement along with this, that is whenever the bond length increases, whenever the bond length increases, bond order decreases, right? So, or reverse, whenever the bond length decreases, right? So, the bond order increases. Both are inversely proportional, right? So, remember this statement, whenever the bond length increases, the bond order decreases. Whenever the bond length decreases, the bond order increases, right? So, here I will show here. So, if you take an example of A and B, right? So, in case of A and B, what happens? So, if it is single bond, the bond length is more, right? So, order is only 1, length is more. If you take A and B the same, if it is double bond, the length is shortened. The length is shortened because whenever you increase the bond order, the bond length decreases, the distance decreases. Even in case of triple bond also, the length will be very short. Observe carefully. The length here is decreasing as the bond order decreases. Sorry, bond order increases. If you take here, so in case of a first example, so that is A is bonded with B. Here if you observe, the bond order is equal to 1 because bond order is nothing but total number of bonds. Bond order is nothing but total number of bonds which are present in the or between the two atoms, right? So, total number of bonds here between A and B is 1, right? So, here also in case of bond order, second example it is 2, right? So, in third example bond order is 3. So, therefore, observe carefully, whenever it is 2, the length decreases than comparatively the first example. In third example, the bond order 3, since it is triple bond, we will call it as triple bond. This is called as triple bond. Since there is a triple bond, its length is reduced. Its length is reduced. Whenever it is double bond, right? So, it is more, the length is more comparatively the triple bond. Similarly, the single bond, in case of single bond, what happens? The length is maximum when compared to that of the second example and the third example. Therefore, we know that bond order is inversely proportional to bond length. Bond order is inversely proportional to bond length. If bond order increases, bond length decreases. If bond order decreases, bond length automatically increases, right? So, therefore, single bond will have the highest bond length, double bond will have bond length somewhat less than that of the single bond, and triple bond will have the very least bond length, or the length is very small when compared to that of the double bond as well as single bond. One more important statement here is the magnetic property in case of molecules, right? So, magnetic property is generally two types. So, one is diamagnetic, second type is paramagnetic, right? So, first one is diamagnetic and second one is paramagnetic. So, in diamagnetic, the molecules, the electrons are completely filled, which means, so if all the molecules in the orbital are doubly occupied, right? So, if all the molecules in a given example, or even in case of any kind of the molecule, so if all the orbitals are completely filled, then it is called as a diamagnetic. For example, if you take p orbitals here, so p orbitals are 3, right? So we will take the same molecule in both examples, right? So here in this case, what happens, if all the orbitals are doubly occupied, this is doubly occupied, which means it is a completely filled electronic configuration, then it is called as diamagnetic, right? So if it consists of right, so unpaired electrons, right, so here there is no any paired electrons, then it is called as paramagnetic, right? So even if it is like this, then it is also paramagnetic because it is unpaired. These two are still haven't paired, right? So there is a less count of electrons, 2 electrons are less in this case. Therefore, whenever it is having the odd number of electrons, right, so we will call it as paramagnetic. Or whenever it is having the half filled atomic orbitals, then also it is paramagnetic, right? So that with the help of these two conditions, we can categorize the molecule into diamagnetic as well as paramagnetic. Remember, diamagnetic is nothing but whenever all the orbitals are completely filled or doubly filled, so we will call it as diamagnetic substance or diamagnetic molecule. But in paramagnetic, what happens, if it is having the odd number of electrons, so if it is having the odd number of electrons or if it is having the half filled electronic configuration, then the molecule is called as paramagnetic. Remember, this also very important in case of predicting the magnetic property of the molecule. So here are some of the examples regarding with the bonding in a homonuclear diatomic molecule. These are homonuclear, means the same molecule, same atom combined with its own atom, right? So one atom combined with its own atom, we will call it as diatomic, that is homonuclear. Observe here, H2, hydrogen bonded with hydrogen, helium bonded with helium, lithium bonded with lithium, carbon bonded with carbon, that is C2, oxygen bonded with oxygen, that is O2, right? So if you calculate the bond order, what will be the bond order, whether it will be positive, negative or 0, right? So these are some of the examples. Out of these, anyone can be asked for 2 marks in the annual examination. Calculate the bond order. So if you go for the hydrogen molecule, hydrogen bonded with hydrogen, we know that the molecular formula of hydrogen is H2. Hydrogen molecule is H2. If you write the electronic configuration, its configuration is 1s2. Its configuration is 1s2. So if we calculate the bond order, there are 2 electrons which are present in bonding and 0 electrons which are present in antibonding. If you write the pictorial diagrammatic representation of this hydrogen molecule, if you take an example of H2 molecule, so we know that H2 is having the sigma 1s2 electronic configuration. If you draw here, so this is hydrogen and this is also hydrogen, right? So hydrogen consists of 1 electron. Further, it will be having a antibonding molecular orbital. We know the diagrammatic representation of orbitals. Here if you observe, so according to this, we can draw here, hydrogen consists of 1 electron, this hydrogen also consists of 1 electron, and after bond formation, they will convert into H2 molecule. So therefore, these 2 electrons, so this will come here, right? So and this electron is also given to this. So therefore, what happens? It consists of 2 electrons here, right? So one is from this hydrogen, another one is from this hydrogen. So therefore, so this is bonding and this is anti-bonding, right? So one is bonding, another one is anti-bonding. Therefore, we know that formula for the calculation of bond order is equal to number of electrons in bonding minus number of electrons in anti-bonding divided by 2, right? So whenever you substitute this value, number of electrons in bonding are 2. So therefore, that is equal to 2 minus anti-bonding, it is 0. So therefore, that is 0 divided by 2. So that is 2 by 2 is equal to 1, which means hydrogen is single bonded with one more atom of hydrogen. right? So that is the proof, or that is the calculation for the bond order in case of given molecule, right? So therefore it is stable because this value is positive, right? So that value is positive and hence it is stable molecule. Therefore hydrogen molecule exists. Hydrogen molecule exists. Right? Similarly, if you go for helium molecule, right? So if we take the example of a helium, that is H2 molecule. So we know the electronic configuration of helium. That the electronic configuration of helium is sigma 1s2 and it is sigma star 1s2. Sigma 1s2 as well as sigma star 1s2. Again, if you draw the orbital diagram for this, right? So we will take it as a helium atom and this is also helium atom, and further there will be two orbitals. One is antibonding molecular orbital, another one is bonding molecular orbital, right? So here already we know that helium consists of 2 electrons here and this helium also consists of 2 electrons here, right? So which means this will give 1 electron to this and this also helium will give 1 electron to this, and after this filling there will be 1 electron extra when compared to that of hydrogen here. So which means the electron is also given to the antibonding and this will also give electron to the antibonding, right? So therefore what happens, there will be 2 electrons here also. One will donate electron to this antibonding also, so one will be given to the bonding also. The same way the second molecule also, the second atom also gives 1 electron to the bonding, another electron to the antibonding, right? So this is bonding, so above is antibonding, right? So therefore bond order is equal to, we know the formula, so that is Nb minus Na divided by 2. Nb minus Na divided by 2, right? So now if you count, the number of electrons in bonding are 2, so therefore that is 2, minus number of electrons in antibonding are also 2, divided by 2, that is 0 by 2, so that is equal to 0, right? So which means there cannot be a 0 bond order in case of molecule. So therefore helium molecule, right? So this He2 molecule does not exist because it is unstable, right? Because here the condition is Nb is equal to Na. We already seen that one. Nb is equal to Na, then the molecule is unstable. Therefore helium molecule does not exist. Helium molecule does not exist, right? So in the same way, by drawing this orbital diagram, so we can calculate the bond order, hydrogen molecule, helium molecule, lithium molecule, right? So you yourself solve these molecules, right? So this pictorial diagrammatic representation you must solve. So lithium molecule, Li2, and here it is sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2. Therefore bond order is equal to Nb minus Na divided by 2, that is 1 by 2 into 4 minus 2, that is equal to 1. So therefore lithium molecule exists. Similarly, if you go for carbon molecule, the electronic configuration is sigma 1s2, sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2, sigma star 2s2, pi 2px2, pi 2py2, and bond order is equal to 1 divided by 2. Same like this, as I have shown even in case of hydrogen as well as helium molecule. This is helium, right? So in case of helium molecule, so try to draw the orbital pictorial diagram. So further you will understand how many number of electrons present in bonding and how many number of electrons present in the antibonding. So further count the number of electrons in bonding and antibonding and further calculate with the help of formula. Bond order is equal to Nb minus Na divided by 2. So therefore calculate for all these molecules. I have shown the examples of this hydrogen as well as helium. So your work is to calculate for the lithium, carbon molecule as well as oxygen molecule, right? So if you have any doubts, further you can ask. But if you have any doubts, first observe this video twice or thrice. Try to solve your own. Then you will understand how to calculate the bond order and which molecule is exist and which molecule does not exist. And further, if you go with the last concept of this chemical bonding chapter, that is hydrogen bonding, right? So generally the hydrogen bond can be defined as the attractive force which binds the hydrogen atom and one of the molecule with the electronegative atom. Observe, the bond formed between the hydrogen atom and the electronegative atom like fluorine, oxygen and nitrogen of another molecule that is called as hydrogen bonding, right? So this can be asked for 2 marks. Define hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen bonding is nothing but the bond formed between the hydrogen atom and electronegative atom of the another molecule. It may be fluorine, oxygen or nitrogen or any kind of electronegative atom. There is negatively charged particle, that is generally called as hydrogen bonding. Here I have given the example, hydrogen bonded with fluorine. So here hydrogen is bonded with fluorine. Positive charge is on hydrogen and negative charge is on fluorine because fluorine is electronegative. Further, here you can observe there is a dotted line which represents there is a bond formation between fluorine and hydrogen. This bond is generally called as hydrogen bonding. Understand? It's very simple concept. So hydrogen bonding is nothing but the bond formed between hydrogen and electronegative atom, right? So generally there are 2 types of hydrogen bonding. One is intermolecular hydrogen bonding and second one is called as intramolecular hydrogen bonding, right? So within the word itself we can define that one. First one is intermolecular, second one is intramolecular. If you take an example here, so the bond formed between 2 different molecules. The bond formed between 2 different molecules of same or different compound. So that is generally called as intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Observe carefully. Intermolecular hydrogen bonding is defined as the bond formed between 2 different molecules of the same type or the different compounds. So that is generally called as intermolecular. For example, hydrogen bond in case of hydrogen fluoride molecules, or in case of alcohol, or in case of water molecule, that is called as intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Here if you observe, so this is the intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Here there are 2 hydrogen fluoride, right? So there are 2 hydrogen fluoride. So there is a bond between the fluorine of one molecule and hydrogen of another molecule, right? So this type of bonding is called as intermolecular. Second one is intramolecular. So intramolecular means within the molecule. It is formed when hydrogen atom is in between the two highly electronegative, it may be fluorine, oxygen or nitrogen atom present within the same molecule. Here it is a different molecule and here it is within the same molecule, that is called as intramolecular hydrogen bonding. If you take the example of orthonitrophenol, here if you take the molecule of orthonitrophenol, observe here hydrogen is in between 2 oxygen. So therefore this bond is generally called as intramolecular hydrogen bonding, right? So intra means within the molecule, inter means between the molecule, right? So those 2 words are very important, right? So this question can be asked for 2 marks. Hydrogen bonding is nothing but the bond formed between the hydrogen atom as well as the more electronegative atom. It may be fluorine, oxygen or nitrogen of the another molecule. There are 2 types of hydrogen bonding. One is intermolecular, another one is intramolecular, right? So once again I will explain here. Hydrogen bonding. So hydrogen bonding is bond between hydrogen atom and more electronegative atom. Right? So more electronegative, it may be fluorine, it may be oxygen or it may be nitrogen. Fluorine, oxygen, nitrogen. Right? So similarly you can take bromine also, because these are all negatively charged. Generally these are considered as the electronegative atoms. All these are considered as the electronegative atom. So there are 2 types of hydrogen bonding. One is intermolecular and the second one is intramolecular. First one is intermolecular. This word is very important. Intermolecular. Second one is intramolecular. So in intermolecular, what happens? Within the molecules. Between the molecules. Between the molecules. If I take hydrogen fluoride and hydrogen fluoride, here already hydrogen is bonded with fluorine. Here also hydrogen bonded with fluorine. If one hydrogen fluoride is having the attractive force with another hydrogen fluoride, this is one separate molecule, right? So this is one separate molecule. So therefore, if there is a force of attraction between this hydrogen and fluorine, observe, right? So observe carefully. This is called as intermolecular hydrogen bonding. That is called as intermolecular hydrogen bonding. Okay, as I already said, that is intramolecular hydrogen bonding is nothing but, if you take the example of O-nitrophenol here, if you take a benzene further bonded with nitrogen, oxygen, one side bonded with oxygen, and it is a hydrogen in between two oxygen. Here hydrogen is between two oxygen, and that is within molecule, that is within the molecule. So this represents, this type of bonding represents, that is intramolecular hydrogen. Observe carefully here, this is very important. So they may ask for 2 marks in the annual examination, right? So here hydrogen bonding is nothing but bond between the hydrogen atom and more electronegative atom. It may be fluorine, oxygen, nitrogen or bromine. There are 2 types. One is intermolecular hydrogen bonding, second one is intramolecular. Intermolecular means between the molecule. If we take 2 hydrogen fluoride, so there is a bond between fluorine and hydrogen, fluorine of the first molecule and hydrogen of the second molecule. That is called as intermolecular hydrogen bonding. So in case of intramolecule means there is only one molecule. Within the same molecule, there is a bond formation of hydrogen with more electronegative oxygen. That is hydrogen between 2 oxygen atoms within the molecule. This word is very important, right? This word is very important. These are the 2 types of hydrogen. Okay, this completes the chemical bonding chapter, and in the next class we'll go with a new concept. Before that, we'll see what we have learned today. That is very important, calculation of bond order along with the definition, and we have seen one important note point, that is bond length decreases as the bond order increases, and we have also seen some of the examples regarding with the calculation of bond order with the help of orbital diagrammatic representation, that is hydrogen molecule and helium molecule I have solved, and yourself try, that is lithium molecule, carbon molecule as well as oxygen molecules. And along with that we have also seen the magnetic property, that is diamagnetic as well as paramagnetic. So if completely filled atomic orbitals, that is called as diamagnetic, and if it is odd number of electrons or half filled, it is paramagnetic. And at last we have seen